This is a interesting story because rarely do we get this honesty and as transparent of a quote from an ESPN employee who was on air talking about ESPN and the mothership completely. As many people know, Jemele Hill has gone at it with Donald Trump on Twitter. Trump has called for her firing. She has had many other tweets as well. And Michael Smith is her co-host on SC6. And when she was suspended, and now that she has left SportsCenter, it is completely Michael Smith's show, but he is not pleased at all with the direction that it's going. And here's what he said. There was a time we weren't even talking to each other on air anymore. Michael Smith told James Andrew Miller on the latter's Origins podcast. Like, no more Michael and Jemele, not less, not here and there, no more Michael and Jemele talking, no more of their commentary. It's just strictly live shots and analysts. That's what pissed me off so much. I was like, wait a second. You all acknowledge that one of the strengths we have going for us as a show is Michael and Jemele's chemistry, but Michael and Jemele don't effing talk to each other? Now, how does that make sense? Smith acknowledged that he and Hill, that quote, had a lot of reservations, close quote, about whether ESPN executives truly knew what they were signing up for by putting them on SportsCenter, claiming that early on it was pretty clear that we were too far off the reservation, if you will. Still, he said he didn't anticipate that changes would be as extreme as they were under Williamson. Noting that people could tell how frustrated he was on and off camera, Smith said, "We knew we were going to get shit out of the gate, but we weren't built to take it." He accused the show's producers of pushing the panic button when SC6 began encountering adversity. Instead of saying, no, this is the vision for the show, this is what we're doing, this show is about Michael and Jemele and their opinions, chemistry, and they're going to do SportsCenter their way. Instead of sticking to that vision, we immediately tried to merge two things. They got what they wanted, which was Michael and Jemele being muted, and that frustrated the S out of us. As for his plans going forward, Smith said, I'm going to do the same stuff I've been doing the last 14 years at ESPN, and it's served me rather well, I may say. Honest, transparent, well opinionated, and I agree completely with what he's saying.
Well, it went from that, I mean, I guess the lack of them talking. His description of them not talking, I wasn't watching this show very closely. I liked both of them, but I didn't watch the show very closely.
So it went from
on air, they would actually literally not have their crosstalk, or they would.
That's what.
Or is it now the latest? Now she's not on camera with the show as much anymore.
That is obviously true because he has no, like, what's he gonna do? Like, hey, Jemele, and Jemele's not even there. Towards the end, yes, completely. That's what it's.
They're there and they're not talking.
Correct.
With their off script comments and things like that.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, if there's reality, and I don't think anybody's gonna read that or hear that and go.
Except ESPN executives.
True, yeah. Exactly. Which is why what part of his complaint was they're so cautious about everything that they're doing, that it's like playing so carefully that you end up like hurting yourself anyway. You know, you don't give yourself a chance to flourish because you're too busy worried about what people are gonna say before they've even said it. Mm-hmm. Or even when two people say something, you go, oh my God, we've checked the pulse of the community. 2 people have spoken out against us. Yeah, people have been speaking out against anchors and the way people do things at ESPN since the beginning of it, I'm sure. There's people who go, oh my, that Chris Berman, enough with the back. You know? But it worked, right? So they stuck with it. You know, it was a thing. Nobody cared about Swami Says after all. Soon enough, like, people had issues, but you don't just bail because you've heard a couple of complaints. And I know it's more than actually 2, but I don't think it's enough to freak out.
But that's what ESPN did.
That's what they do. That's what big corporations do because they worry about the way things look. You get beyond, when you get so big, you get beyond the product and more with the response before you've even done it.
Haven't we learned though that like difference is better? Being different is better? Being unique in your own way is better? It drives up ratings more? When
your ratings are as high as they've always had it, then you go with, oh, well, let's protect this rather than let's move on. I mean, let's go for a sports analogy. You know, if basketball team is up by 20, like, oh, we'll keep our bench a little bit longer and make sure our starters get a longer rest, even though our normal rotation would continue to beat on this team's ass. Let's leave these guys in and get some playing time. And then you give up 15 points in half a quarter. And you're like, oh, now we're panicking again.
I think
you get comfortable instead of just playing.
To relate it even further, it's like having Michael Vick, who's a running quarterback, go out of an I formation, a power I formation, a goal line formation every single time you're playing. You're taking away the strengths of what got them to that point and trying to manipulate trying to manipulate the game in your favor, even though it doesn't work at all.
And you have to understand your audience. I mean, they know better than I do. I don't analyze ESPN audiences.
That's a fair point, but I still don't think. Here's the thing. You can't make the hire of somebody knowing what they are and the audience that they built and the follower count that they've had by being themselves and then try to transform them into something else. It just really doesn't work in the end.
Absolutely.
So I agree with Michael Smith. It was a bad hire from the start. I'm sorry. It was a bad promotion from the start if ESPN was going to put these two hosts who were so good together in a box and hurt them. It's different with TYT, but when you had outside work, I don't want to hear names, but like, have you ever been silenced before from doing what you do?
Man, only the work I did was, I worked with Fox Sports before I came here, and that was as an intern. So it's not, I don't think you can compare it, because the reason I didn't get to do anything I wanted is because I was 21 years old and they didn't give a damn. They're like, yeah. So go back up to the music department and grab a couple of those, I'm gonna date how old I am. Grab a couple more of those CDs. We need it for the show. I was like, don't I get to be on air?
Was it Till
I have things to say.
I mean, I can tell you from my own personal experience, it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. 2 outlets hired me for what they knew me as, and yet they tried to completely change what I was.
Weird. It's
a bad feeling.
That's protocol, man. It's the way it works. They're like, this is the way we do it, and we want you to bring some kind of energy or your audience, if that's appropriate for each situation, to this. But we want you to do it our way. And we're like, well, my audience doesn't like your way. That's why they're my audience.
Exactly. Let us know your thoughts and continue to follow our clips at youtube.com/TYT Sports.